Okay, so I'm going to go through a few problems on the homework for interior and exterior angles. This will prepare you for the quiz that's on Canvas. So on number 1, this is on the interior angles page. What we do is we look at the arcs. So here we have 70, and that's across from 40. So our angle here is angle 1. And when we have an interior angle, we add them together and we divide by 2. So here we get 110 divided by 2, which gives us 55 degrees for angle 1. And that is number 1. So let's jump down to number 4. So it's asking us to find the measure of angle 2 and x. So we have to find both things. The measure of angle 2 is easy because this is a straight line. And what do we know about a straight line? We know that a straight line is 180 degrees. So if this side is 47, then you should be able to figure out what this angle is. So I'll give you a second to do that. So we would just do 180 minus 47, which gives us 133 degrees for, whoops, not 130, 133 degrees for the measure of angle 2. Now the other thing is that we need to find x. So when we have an interior angle, we look at our 2 arcs and we add them together. So we would have 41 plus x, and then we divide them by 2, and that gives us our interior angle. So in this case, the interior angle would be 47. So that's why I have this equal to 47 here. So then to solve for x, we would just multiply by 2. So we have 47 times 2. So we get 41 plus x equals 94. And then we subtract 41 on both sides. So we get x equals 53. So that means that this arc over here, the arc measure is 53 degrees. So that's how we do it when it gives us the interior angle in one of the arcs and we have to find the other arc. So these ones are a little tricky. So don't worry too much about these. So try these, but don't spend too much time on them. Your homework problems will look more like, or the quiz problem, sorry, the quiz problems will look more like this. These are good because it just gets you thinking about, like these ones, like on number 9, this is saying that these are the same, which means that these would be the same. And so it's just getting you thinking about line segments in circles and what the angles are. Okay. Then on the back, these are more of the same. These 16, 17, and 18. 16 isn't too bad, but 17 and 18, there's a lot of these or a lot of angles that you're trying to find. I want you to try this because this is like an easier version of what your test is going to look like for this chapter. So I know that this looks complicated, but just logic your way through it and see if you can figure these out. The key is on the website, so you can go on and check your work as you go, but you should be practicing this as we go because you'll have a test after spring break on this material. And then we have our exterior angles. So I'm going to add the E here. So this is exterior angles. And remember with exterior angles, we are subtracting. So interior, we add the arcs together. Exterior angles, we subtract. So our major arc is 170. So I'm going to do 170 minus 72. And then we divide that by 2, and that gives us our angle, which is x. So 170 minus 72, that's 98. And if we divide that by 2, that would be 49. Oh, just 49. So we have 49 degrees. So this angle right here is 49 degrees. And that's essentially what we're doing. On number 2, this one's a little tricky. So in the notes for this section, the last angle that we saw was a tangent and a radius angle that form a 90-degree angle. So what this is saying is that this is a tangent, so these only intersect once. So if this part is 270 and we know the whole circle is 360, then that tells us that the other arc is just 90 degrees. So that should make sense. Well, that's how we would do this one. So then you would just do 270 minus 90 divided by 2. So that gives us 180 divided by 2, which equals 90. So that tells us that this is 90 degrees. And that is number 2. Yeah, see, this one is just testing your knowledge. This is a diameter. So we know that this part is 180 degrees. So part of it's 140. That means that the other part is 40. And let's do number 5 because it's different. It's not giving you the 2 arcs and you're finding the angle. So we know that the major arc, this one is going to be bigger. So we have x minus 30 divided by 2 equals 26. So we're going to solve it the same way we did with our interior angles. So we have x minus 30 equals 52. Then we'll add 30 to both sides. So we get that that arc is 82 degrees. So you just have to solve it backwards or do some backwards logic there. Number 6 is also kind of tricky. So these are tangents. So I'm going to say that they intersected about right here. I'll say about right there. So this one I think is one of the harder ones. We know that the whole circle, so this whole circle would be 360 degrees, but we know that part of it is x. So I'm going to erase this yellow circle. So if we have the major arc, that's going to be the whole circle minus x, because that part's we already know that that part's x, this orange part. So when we do our major arc minus our minor arc divided by 2 gives us 70, that's how you would set up this problem. I'm going to redraw the 70. So that's how you would set this up. This part right here would be minus 2x. So they don't cancel each other out, but we would have minus 2x there. So we have 360 minus 2x divided by 2 equals 70. And then I'll let you solve it from there. And you can check your work on the key on the website. Once again, on the back, this is getting closer to what your quiz is going to look like, or your test for this chapter. It's going to be it's called a monster circle, where we have a bunch of line segments in there and you have to find all the missing angles. So this is really good practice for the quiz that you'll have. So make sure to do this one in practice for your quiz test. I don't know what to call it. It's going to be on Canvas. So unless we go back to school before we get to the end of the chapter, then it'll be in class. But for now, they're telling us to plan like we're staying as remote learning. So as far as I know, we'll be doing the test on Canvas. So just make sure that you're practicing with this homework. Thanks, guys.